Hey, welcome to my channel. Today I'm talking about why I never try to manifest anything, which sounds like a massive contradiction given what I do, what I coach and what I write about, but why I never actively try to manifest anything. And I've been not trying to manifest anything for probably about 18 months or so now. So what exactly do I mean by that, not trying to manifest? Just what it says really, I don't try to manifest anything. I obviously have desires for things and I feel like I want something, but I just kind of leave it at that now. I do find the desire for it, so you might say, well, that is you trying, but I sort of naturally tap into that desire for it, and then I might, for the odd moment, feel as if I have it, but mostly I'm not even doing that these days, because what I don't want to do is spend my life trying to manifest things. When I decide that I want something, I will decide that I want it and feel that real desire for it, and then if there's some action that I can take to get it, I will often plan to take that action. I won't then wait for it to fall into my lap, because it can become really frustrating that way and something doesn't show up and you're looking for it. Sometimes there's no action I can take. It's impossible for me to take action, so all I do is feel the desire for it and basically say, okay, I hope for the best now. Over to you, reality. There you go. See what you can do with that. That's as much as I can do if I cannot take any action. If I can take some action, then I plan to take that action, because I don't rely on manifesting everything. Even though you may say, well, that's a manifestation in itself. Whenever it comes to it, it's a manifestation. It kind of is really, isn't it? Because we're creating as we go. And I look at some action, and then inevitably, not all of the time, sometimes the action I take is so quick that it's done and dusted in a short amount of time, but often when it's something bigger that I can take action for, before I've even started taking the action or finished taking the action, it's come to me another way. You know, I've said the story, this is just a little example, but when I wanted a new iPhone, I just looked at my iPhone and thought, I really need a new iPhone. And I thought, okay, I'll buy a new iPhone. That's all I thought. I didn't think I'm going to manifest a new iPhone. I just thought I'm going to get a new iPhone, because I don't like to then plot and work out how I'm going to manifest something. So it was just that afternoon. I hadn't even gone as far as actually looking for one or going out to buy one. And then my husband came down with a brand new one that we had upstairs, because we design apps as well. And we had to do a lot of testing, but this one hadn't been used and it was brand new, and he said, do you want this phone? He didn't know that I was thinking about getting a new phone. There you go, I had one. So I had done it, manifested it super quick, but I hadn't planned to manifest it, because had I planned to manifest a new iPhone, it would have taken longer, because I would have had that kind of sort of not need for it as such, because no one needs a new iPhone, but I would have been looking to get results from trying to manifest it. I would have got the iPhone, I would have got it, it would have come to me in some way, but I would have had to go a longer amount of time without the new phone that I wanted. So because I could go and buy it, I had decided to go and buy it. There you go. And that really brings me on to my next point. It's all about acceptance. Everything is about acceptance of the moment. And when you hear a lot about ignore 3D, you must ignore 3D. It's impossible to ignore 3D, absolutely impossible. It's how you deal with 3D, not ignoring it, how you deal with it. So how I deal with it and how I have to deal with it all of the time is I have to accept it. I have to accept what's going on now in my life. If I want to change something, I categorically have to accept what is now. And when I say accept, so say you said you decided after watching this that you were going to try and do that you were going to accept everything. You have to really accept it. You don't just say to yourself, okay, I accept this, but still feel that lack and that missing somebody or whatever it is that you want, missing that from your life. That isn't acceptance. Acceptance is a feeling, a real feeling of, I completely accept this, and it gives you a release feeling. You know, it takes a little bit of practice, definitely it does, which I say about a lot of stuff. It doesn't always happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight for me, and sometimes something will happen and I'll find it difficult to accept it, and I might go a little while where I haven't accepted it, not long, about a day or so, and then eventually I will just realise that I need to accept it in order, if I want a different result, I need to accept this. And by accepting it, I say to myself, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen if nothing changes from this point? And that gets me to the point of acceptance. And sometimes the worst case scenario isn't that great, but still I think, no, I can deal with it. You know, I've seen people in my life, my family, deal with huge, awful things. And, you know, so I can deal with whatever this is. So if you can do that, if you can accept what's going on now, acceptance is just a form of release. It isn't telling the universe that you don't want that thing anymore. It isn't doing that at all. It really isn't. It's just a form of release, and you feel it inside. You feel a shift inside, basically, and you know that you've actually accepted it. It doesn't mean that you don't want that thing anymore. As soon as you accept something, you'll still want that thing, but you will have accepted that you don't have it at the moment, but you're okay with that. And it is, I think it did take me a while. I mean, I don't know, I decided to do it when I heard Eckhart Tolle talking about radical acceptance, and I thought, that's got to be for me. That is my thing. That's what I need to do, because I wasn't particularly accepting things. And I was trying to ignore the 3D and say, well, I don't accept this, I want this, and it wasn't working. So it wasn't working consistently, but the acceptance thing, oh, it really does, it changes your life, honestly. If I could just get a few of you to really get on board with that, and it will change your life. A lot of people don't want to hear it because they think, well, I don't want to accept now, I want to, because you'll see a lot of stuff about ignoring the 3D. And this is just my opinion, of course, and it depends on your personality and all of that, but I don't want to work hard for things. I never have wanted to work hard for stuff. I get that sometimes if I decide to put in some action, then that's going to be work, but I don't mind. I just concentrate on the action. And then, like I said, often it will come to me before I've even completed any sort of action. But then sometimes I just tell myself, if I do this, this and this, I will get this. And that is creating, isn't it? It's just creating with taking some action rather than waiting for it to fall into my lap. I'm not saying you can't wait for it to fall in your lap, of course you can. But of course, waiting for something inevitably means you look for it, you look for it, you look for it. I've done this and I've done that and it hasn't come. Like, why hasn't it come? I've affirmed and I've scripted and it hasn't come. Just noticing that you don't have it. So an acceptance means that you're just not looking for that. You just accept that it will come at some point, but you don't know when that will be. The most important things with the law of attraction, we're calling it that, is desire, intention. So sort of setting that intention, however you do that. And you can do it, I'm not saying you shouldn't script and you shouldn't affirm and all of that, but you don't want to prolong that. You don't want to make that into something that you do day after day after day for months and months and months, because when you shouldn't need to. That absolutely should not be necessary. It isn't necessary, and it just exhausts you, and you start seeing it as a chore. You don't enjoy it, and it starts losing its magic. You start losing your magic. So it's desire, intention, let it go. And the let it go is purely acceptance. Acceptance of the now, knowing that it can change at any moment, but you don't know when it's going to be, because that isn't your job. That's down to reality. That is letting go. That is giving it over to something else. Whichever way you want to look at it, that's acceptance too, because you're saying, okay, I'm here now, I give this to something else. However you want to look at it. But to me, just accepting the present moment, whatever that is, even if I get bad news or whatever, I have to accept it in order to then, and I will still set my intention, which you might say, well, that is trying. So I will still have a desire for something and sort of set the intention internally, but we're talking about, 30 seconds of my life, in order to bring something into my life, but always in hope rather than expectation. And if I could also teach you any one mindset to get into, is to do it with hope rather than expectation, because expectation leads to looking for it, leads to doubt, leads to fear, leads to all of those other feelings like it's not going to happen. What if it doesn't happen for me and other people are getting it and I'm not getting it? Leads to all of that. And hope is just nice, it's just gentler. It's like, wouldn't that be cool? There's a really strong chance that I'm going to get that. I really hope for this. You can wish for it. Any of that takes that pressure off. And a lot of this doing stuff, when you're trying to ignore 3D, okay, so you're told to ignore 3D and then you're told to affirm and to do all this other stuff. And how then can you ignore 3D? If you're affirming all of that, you've got the 3D going on as it is, but you're affirming all of this, how can you then ignore what's going on? Because you're thinking, why hasn't it changed? Because I'm affirming and I'm saying this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. That's my problem with it, but that's me and not my opinion on the whole thing, but just my opinion on it if you are like me. And if that doesn't work for you, it does work for some people, I know it does, but it just doesn't work for me. Okay, so that's that really, summed it up in one shortish video. So if you don't know anything about me, I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm a coach. You can get some Zoom coaching from me, £65 for my members, £75 if you're not a member. I do personalised subliminals, which are hugely popular at the moment, so there is a bit of a waiting list, not too long, but I have to set your recording date and all of that. You just need to contact me about that. If you do, and you go and you're not a member and you go through the contact page, can you just title it Subliminal Recording? request, because otherwise it will get lost in all of the other emails and I only answer those every 10 days, so because I'm just too busy. So that would be cool. Also, just to let you know that my son has a Law of Attraction channel, which you probably know, or you will know if you've been here before, because we did a video together last time, which I will link actually here at the end. And his is mostly specific person based, although he is branching out actually now, so there's a ton of specific person stuff, but he is doing a little bit more, he's varying it slightly now as well. He offers coaching as well. So that's it. Thank you for watching.